Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. The man to my left needs absolutely no introduction, and I am sure you
I do.
here.
So some people here might not know me.
Okay, maybe there's 1.5 people here who don't know who you are.
I can count like 5 people. That
Okay,
don't know.
5 people. Yes, Davido, would you like to say something?
Well, yeah, my name is Davido, a.k.a. David Adeleke. Originally from West Africa, Nigeria. Grew up in Lagos. Grew up some time in America too. Spent some time in Atlanta. So I'm kind of back and forth. But long story short, I started music about
When you were 11, right?
Yeah, but I don't count that. I count my music when I started making money. So
Okay.
from when I was about
So what, 16?
yeah, about 16, 17.
Okay.
I'm 25 now, so about how many years is that? 7 years. C said 9.
Wait, obviously math is not our strong point.
But yeah, for a couple, while, but we've been pushing the envelope for African music, and I just thank God that the growth has just been amazing. Not for only myself, like so many other African artists, we've all been pushing, and like I feel like we're just about to bust the balloon.
Yeah, so why do you think that is? What is happening right now in the culture that is drawing people to Africa, to the music, to the fashion, to the food? What is it?
I'm happy you said that, because every time I'm always asked about like music, I always tell them like it's like a cycle. Like music can't do it alone. Like we have a cycle. Now we have like I bought this because it looks like something that we made from back home, but it's actually Dolce & Gabbana. So you have fashion. You go to restaurants. I'm telling you, you go to some restaurants, you see them serving like there's this restaurant that's out, where was it? Somewhere. Normally they cook just like steaks and lobster and stuff like that. And I went there like a couple months ago. They had Nigerian food. They have like a little section, menu Nigerian food. So we have the food, we got the fashion, and now we have movies, Black Panther, and then the music again. The Black Panther soundtrack has like 3 songs on it from, I think, South Africa. So like the whole envelope is like a cycle. And then when you have a cycle, it's very hard to be stopped. You know what I'm saying? At first it was the music, now it's like the culture, the food, the fashion, and everything is and sports too.
Right.
My bad. Sports too. So everything, modeling. We had Lagos Fashion Week, I think it was December. Mad models came down. Naomi just left Lagos. She loved it. Her mind still can't get out of Africa. I was her last night. She's still planning more stuff to do in Africa. So it's like a cycle.
Is it, I mean, you are really the definition of an international artist, because you started out in the States, Atlanta, Alabama, then you went to the UK, and you went to your back home to Nigeria.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been, you have a worldview that I think a lot of people don't have, and maybe, is it that the world is just catching up to Africa at this point?
Yo, funny enough, when I was in Alabama, cause I wasn't home, my cousins, I was like, yo, send me what's popping in Nigeria, send me like new music. And it was like P Square, The Banj, Two Face and that. And then he would send me all the new songs, and I'll be playing it. And like, probably like my next door, the neighbor, like I was staying next door, he'd come over, he'd be like, yo, what was that you was playing? Like, oh, this shit's hard, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, it's African music, blah, blah, blah. So like my American friends always loved it. Like they always loved it. So there's this guy upstairs in my apartment. I always used to hear music, boom, 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 boom. So I went upstairs, I was like, yo, what's going on? He opens the door, and I see a studio setup. And I was like, yo, what's this? He was like, oh, studio, blah, 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 blah. So that's where I really got into it, because he was doing gospel music at the time, but he taught me how to work my way around recording and stuff like that. So that's when I really got into it. And then I went straight to, at first me and my cousins were in Atlanta. We were trying to do like American music and stuff, but it wasn't really working out. That's why it's crazy to me, because I tried to do it in Atlanta, didn't work out. Then we went to I didn't really try to do nothing in London. I was in London because I was on the run from my family because they didn't want me to do music. But I left America and got to London, and then finally ended up in Lagos. And then from Lagos, you know what I'm saying, dropped the record. I dropped one song I produced myself, and that was actually the first song I ever recorded. So when I got back to Lagos, my family got me. They're like, yo, send me to the village, to school, blah, blah, blah. But then before I left, I had given my guy the song. I was like, yo, whenever you have time, just take it to the clubs, spread it around, whatever. So I'm in school for like 3 months, like in the village, like just darling, like nothing. And then my friend comes back, he's like, yo, that song you gave me is big in Lagos, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I went back to Lagos. And then from Lagos, I started getting like, did the Lagos round, did Nigeria rounds. Before you know it, I'm getting booked here, getting booked here. So it's like I went back home, and then now it's like from home to the UK. No, really from Lagos, Western Africa, Francophone Africa, South Africa. And from South Africa, transitioning to the UK. Then the last main point, of course, is America. So.
Right. So it's really like you went full circle. You started in Atlanta, went to London, went to Africa, then went back the other way. That's amazing. I think it needs to be said, if people don't know, that you are the son of a very wealthy African who is one of the wealthiest people on the continent. And I'm curious, your career development has been so grassroots. Was that something you wanted to prove to yourself, to your family, or was that a strategy?
It wasn't really that, because like before I even, like when I was even trying to promote my music, it was hard for me. It's always harder for me because, you know what I'm saying, I don't have a, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to lie and say I'm from the streets, or I had a, you know, I'm not from, most of my friends like all grew up in the streets. Like I'm in touch with the streets in Nigeria, but I didn't grow up in the streets, and people feel like I have the upper hand. So I had to work extra hard. Like my music, I bet you if my music was just like okay, regular, I bet you people will listen to me. My music had to be exceptionally good. I'm telling you, for like them to accept, like I had records on records. I had hits on hits. People like, to be honest, I don't even think people agreed like, yo, this boy is bad, till probably like 3 years ago. And I've been doing this for 7 years. Like, there was always an excuse, you know what I'm saying? If his dad didn't have money, oh, he has this, he has that, he has that. But like, I had to work extra hard. And it's funny because you think I didn't have to work extra hard because of my dad. But to prove, like, to just get out that shadow of being from a wealthy family, like, there's no musician in my family. The closest person to me is my uncle. He's a senator now, but he dances. That was the closest, like, yeah, you see him, he dances. But that was the closest ever, and like, I was hiding music from my father for so long because, one, I didn't think he'd like it. Two, it was back then, music wasn't something like, oh, it's crazy. But I can tell you, because of me, half of the, well, if not all, like the wealthiest people in Africa, I bet you they have 1 or 2 kids that were doing music. And it's not like before where it's like they don't want to support them. Now you see them actually supporting them, like giving them all they need to move musically. But
and your father, is he supportive now of your career?
Of course, but he doesn't have to be supportive financially because I'm good now. But
understatement of the year.
No, but don't get me wrong. If I go to my dad, I'm like, yo, Dad, let me hold some. I want to do this. He give it to me because he sees I work hard. I sold almost 1 million records, like units.
Yeah.
So like he sees how. You know what I'm saying? He sees it now. It's a business now. When I'm talking to him, I'm not talking to him like, yo, Dad, I need this. I'm talking to him like, yo, Dad, it's how we gonna make $5 million. You know what I'm saying? It's a business. Yeah. So he's always been supportive. He flies out to shows. You know what I'm saying? He loves all the music. He sees everything before it comes out. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah,
you sold 800,000 units on the continent, which is amazing. You got signed to Sony.
Yeah.
And, you know, just from afar, someone who's in the States and sort of paying attention to what's going on in Africa, it seems like Sony is way ahead of the game. Is that, like, why did you sign with them?
I feel like, yes, Sony's on point, but I also feel like they had to learn. when I say they had to learn, is like when I first got signed in 2016, because I didn't know how it worked. Like it was the first time signing that type of deal. I remember being in the office. I was like seeing all these people in suits and gray beards. I'm like, yo, what's going on? But bottom line, I signed the deal. So it's like, okay, now what? So I think they kind of wanted me to do like their kind of records, like records I wasn't comfortable doing. And then we dropped an EP, which didn't work out too well. And I had to just like, and I hadn't been in Africa for like several months. Like I was straight in the US, fly here, they sent me here, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. I need to go to Lagos to just be with my family for a bit. So that's how I went back to Lagos. And that's how I recorded If. So when I go back to Lagos, I had a good friend, he's a big artist too. His name is Techno. And every time we hit the club, he'd be like, yo, David, I have this record. Come on, let's go and record it. And I'm like, man. I was just like, because my head wasn't right. I just dropped the EP. I was just thinking like, yo, I'm trying to get out of this deal. That's what I was thinking about the whole time. He's like, yo, let's just go do this record. I went to his house. I remember it was after the club. Went to Techno's house, recorded the record. And then after I recorded If, that's when I went to Gabon. Very funny story. After I recorded If, I went to Gabon and commissioned the Berkeley Music School with the president. That's something I'm going to talk about later. Yep. And then from there, I went to London, shot the video for If. And then once that dropped, it was just like, then Sony was like, okay, we see like this can work. And then after that, we just kept going back to back.
So you actually had to sort of show them the way, and you've always been your own A&R, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you know how to produce, you know how to mix.
Yeah.
Is that something that you know an artist of such stature needs to have, those skills?
Not really. Like, to be honest, like an artist can just be an artist and have the people around him that will make sure. But I started as an engineer and a producer, so for me, it's hard for me to give somebody else my work and like. Because I know exactly how I wanted to sound. I know exactly. So that's why I make sure I'm involved in every aspect from the production to how I record myself. Mm-hmm. I don't record in a big studio. I have my computer. I have my mic here. I record myself, and I send it on to whoever needs to. Even if you produced it, I'm gonna take the beat. I'm gonna go do what I gotta do. And I'm gonna bring it back. Stuff like that.
Wow. Well, you mentioned Black Panther, which is such a huge success, one of the biggest box office successes this year. What do you think that means, the success of that movie, for the embrace of African culture and music and outside in the Western world?
It means a lot. You know what I'm saying? It means a lot because, like I said, the cycle, I think Black Panther was, if not probably one of the biggest things to happen to our culture. Like I said, the soundtrack of Black Panther, I think, has like a couple like songs from African artists. Mm-hmm. And that record's gone platinum, right?
Yep.
Or more than platinum. So that's already pushing the envelope crazy. And the whole movie, and it's like, it's you know what? We're used to watching like movies about slavery, movies about, what's that movie called? Just movies about like coups, wars. But it's the first time we see the African superhero. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The vibranium, to me, is like the culture in Africa, which is just it lasts long. You know what I'm saying? Like Africa, be like in America, somebody drop a record, 3 months, 4 months after, everybody looking for the next record. But like I have records I perform, like the song I come out with in my show is my first song, Davido, and they still go crazy. So just the whole superhero and the whole package of the whole Black Panther thing really just brought Africa to the forefront.
Yeah.
Like I said, also sports, the World Cup, they should get ready because we about to kick some butt too. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, so the Nigerian jersey for the World Cup has sold out, basically.
Yeah.
Which is just another, sort of evidence of how influential
I think that was the only jersey that sold out?
Yeah.
Wow, woo.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
And also in Black Panther, I mean, this is a movie that was put out by Disney. You know, the album was put out by Universal. You know, these are giant companies that are looking to Africa, 1.2 billion people.
Yeah.
There's a huge market there, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like, it's crazy. Like, first it was Sony Africa. You have like Universal Africa and stuff. But now they actually opened branches in different countries. You know, mostly it was just like South Africa. But now you have Sony in Nigeria. You have Universal in Nigeria. I'm hearing a couple other people going to Nigeria too. I think Ivory Coast too.
Mm-hmm.
Ivory Coast, Kenya, a couple other places.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, man. For just the whole envelope to just come together and just like, it's crazy.
And not even just for the artists, but the executives, you know, that there is executive talent in Africa.
Of course. A&Rs, executive producers.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
Publicists, PR, managers. It's a long, you know what I'm saying?
It's very exciting. So the strategy here, as far as I can tell, is you do a pre-run. You know, you do some shows. You sort of put your out there.
There's no strategy.
No strategy.
I had no strategy. I was just waking up day by day. It was like, yo, let's do this.
Well, for the new album, it's like you're appearing here,
okay,
right? And then the album will come out maybe in September,
yeah.
And then you'll promote it some more. You're playing festivals. You're really, really going for the American market. Is that?
No, they go for me.
Okay, got it. Is that the goal?
Huh?
Is that the goal, to be the first African artist to break America?
I mean, Fela broke America. Fela broke the world.
Well, that's true, but that was some time ago.
I don't like hearing first. I just want to do it.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to be the first. But I just want to do it eventually. So it's not about being the first. But with the festivals and things, just this year has been crazy. My management just be like we've had so much offers, like 10 festivals, but we could only do like 5 because I got a tour and stuff. But we made sure we picked the most important ones. Like we're doing Wireless.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing One Music Fest in Atlanta. That's with Nas. We're doing, I think, Belgium, Afropunk in Paris. And then so there's one more I forgot.
Made in America?
Made in America, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to tear the house down.
That's excellent. And sorry, I lost my... Okay, the music school. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the president of Gabon, he's actually a musician. I think he's like one of the only presidents in Africa right now as a musician. So he brought the Berkeley Music School to Gabon, open it, and he invited me to open it with him. And it's world class. Like, it's amazing. So my aim is actually like, I just did an African tour.
Mm-hmm.
So during the African tour, I made sure that I sat down with, if not the president, but at least people close to the president of those countries to try and open that same, with the help of the Gabon president, get the people to open that same school around different countries in Africa. Because the talents, there's so much talent, but like the resources, I mean, it's easier now because you just get a laptop, get a mic, but still, like, if we have that kind of institution all around Africa, there'll probably be like 10 Black Panther movies coming out every 2 months because of the talent and the production. So my plan is to take that school. And my dad too. My dad has a university. So I plan to open it in that university too. So I can imagine having like 20 of those schools around Africa. Like the export of culture is going to be amazing if we do that. So that's one of my plans.
And what's your role in these schools? Like,
I mean, just to put it together. I don't want no money from it, nothing. Just to connect the dots, get the person that's going to fund it, if it's a government or it's going to be an individual. Get the people to come from America, of course, to inspect. There are a lot of people I'm trying to I think most of the teachers that in the Berkeley Music School in Gabon is mostly African too. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, bringing all international people, just to bring them to just brush them up and make sure everything is good. There's a lot of space in Africa to build.
Yeah.
So.
And is the mission to give talent an outlet or a place where they could possibly start a career?
Of course. Like, you have a studio for them, then I don't know. There's just different things we can do. Maybe like every 2 months, whoever produces the best record gets a free video, put it on TV for them. You know what I'm saying? Or when you graduate, you know what I'm saying? There's so many things you can do. Labels will visit the schools, see the future signees they want to sign, stuff like that.
Excellent. Can we talk a little bit about collaborations?
Yeah.
Because, you know, one of, not the easiest, but, you know, a strategy that a lot of artists take is just to be a featured artist, and that's how you introduce yourself. What do you think about collabs? Are you pro, con? Is it something you're going to be doing on your album?
To be honest, my album is mostly me, but I'm like, I'm not dumb. Like, if Rihanna wants me on a record, I'll do it. But I'm not like crazy about it. Yeah. But it's a good thing though, because I mean, they're showing their audience to me, and I'm doing the same for them. My only problem is that the support it got to be genuine. You know what I'm saying? It got to be genuine. You got to actually be friends. They have to actually be interested in the culture first. You have to love it first. Then, if in that way, I'm for it. But if it's just something put together by the label where you probably meet at the video shoot and never see each other again, I'm not for that. And
it seems like your success really, like your biggest tracks are just you.
Me. Exactly.
And you've worked with Meek Mill and Young Thug, and you've been in the studio with these guys, but you really feel like you need to stand as your own artist.
Yeah. I mean, they cool. Thug is my friend. Still hang out now and then. But I'm just more about me and just doing that.
All right, well, since you spent so much time in Atlanta, and Atlanta is really the hub of hip-hop music.
Right now, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, so when you were growing up there, like, how have you seen music change?
It's crazy to me because not even, like, growing up in Atlanta, I was mostly in school. So I wasn't really in the city like that. But I've seen it grow so big, especially in Atlanta. Like, it's crazy. Like, can I say this? Even the strip clubs, like playing African music, stuff like that. I don't want to say what artist, but some artists had like a club hosted gig, and he invited me, like, yo, come through, blah 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 blah. So I'm like, this is very recent. So I'm like, okay. I took 2 of my boys. Me, I like to roll with a pack because I have a big family. So I was like, I took 2 of my boys. Went in the section of the club, blah blah blah, and me, I was just trying to be low key, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just some African artist. I ain't trying. You're like, yo, the DJ's like, yo, hold up, we got Davido in the building. All the girls start going crazy. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And they play the records and like all type of races singing it. Word. I just came from Stanford University. There was like 3 Asians in front of me, singing it word for word. So it's just like, it's just, I'm telling you, it's about to pop.
Yeah.
Just a matter of time, it's about to pop. And I feel like the way we've been doing it, we're not forcing it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel that's the same mindset we should have going through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you know,
amazing.
When I hear your music and I hear that beat, which is, you know, the Afro beat, and I hear it on French Montana, you know, Unforgettable, and any number of huge pop tracks. When you hear that, are you like, oh man, this guy's trying to like do that thing, or is it genuine?
No. He can't do it better than me. So he could like I always say, like, I can't do their music better than them, and they can't tell me they're going to do my African music better than me. But I feel like that's a plus. Use it outside, I feel like that's a plus. Using our samples, I feel like that's a plus. The same way we use in my record, I use is it Joe? You know, I don't want to be a player no more.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's Big Pun. So I use just as long as it sounds good. And Unforgettable is a nice record, so it doesn't matter to me as long as it sounds good.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, that is the sound that is resonating in the States. So
yeah.
So your arrival is perfectly timed.
We shall see.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, David, for lovely, enlightening talk.